What's up, guys? You have heard the hype. I've heard the hype. I was curious about it. I watched every YouTube video, probably much like yourself, and eventually I finally freaking bought one. I bought the all-new Ford Maverick. So I have a little bit of a different perspective with this Ford Maverick than maybe the next guy. All right, I am a general contractor handyman. So today is gonna be our first test, loading up lumber and building finishing pieces to a pergola that I just built in my wife's 350 van. I pulled a trailer and loaded up the 350 Ford Transit van all the way to the brim. So we're gonna see how this thing does. So let's start off taking a look at what's inside right now. All right, so first things first, let's open this tailgate. So I've got my table saw, a general pulley, and then I'm gonna be doing some slats. So I got a little chopper, clamps so I can hang them until my guys get there. Here's something that I don't think gets advertised very often. I'm not really sure why. This seat actually folds down. And if you don't get the bucket seats down, or the bucket compartments down at the bottom, the seat actually folds even flatter. So I don't know why they didn't advertise this very much. I've got two full-size toolboxes sitting on top of my ginormous rolling toolbox on each side. I've got one on each side. So, and then I've got my extra toolbox down here. Plenty of room to get everything in there. Wouldn't be a day unless I forgot something. So I forgot an extra ladder, the stand that holds my table saw. This guy right here. So here's what we're looking at so far. Let's go. All loaded. Let's head to the lumberyard. He's saying that they can't find the wood that I already ordered yesterday, so we shall see how this plays out. All right, so just quick little observations from the ride over here. With the unibody design, I was really worried that that was going to make it really soft and lame. It does have, I mean, it's got more payload than the Toyota Tacoma. It's got almost 1,500 pounds of payload, whereas the Tacoma's like just under 1,200. But so something that's interesting that I wasn't expecting is because of the I'm assuming that it's because of the unibody design, but at all times you can hear everything that's happening in the bed as if it was like mildly an extension of the cab. So if that makes sense, like this, you know, I had a Toyota Tundra before this, and you know, the separation right here makes it to where you hear what's in the cab, but you don't hear what's in the bed. But in this one, you kind of hear a little bit of everything, which is a little odd, but I could probably get used to it. All right, locked and loaded. So a couple just notes, mentions, things I feel like I should bring up. First of all, I do have the tailgate at its raised position. Super convenient to have that. Not necessary for this job. I could have it up, or I could have it down, but I don't know. I just felt like having a little raise, a little tilt to the job was going to be kind of convenient. All right, the next thing I wanted to mention is that it was actually, excuse me, it was actually really convenient how low this thing sits, because I could literally just like reach my hand right around as I was going around to strap the stuff on. Very, very simple. I guarantee you that my Toyota Tundra, I'd have been, you know, needing a stool, trying to step up on top of things. And honestly, putting stuff up top would have just been impractically frustrating, to where I probably would have just done something else. Gotten a trailer or something else, or tried to fill up the bed. Granted, the bed would be bigger in my Tundra, only a foot bigger. So I don't think it would have made enough of a difference for me to be like, oh yeah, it's great. You know, like I'll be honest, like I would like about another foot in the bed, but I'm going to be creative, and with the roof rack being low, it just makes life a whole lot easier to use this thing. So here we go. Let's see what it's like to drive with this bad boy now. One thing I did want to mention as well is I watched a zillion videos like I talked about, and I kept hearing people talk about how they thought it was so cool how the Maverick had all these tie-down hooks and spots where you could tie stuff down and whatnot. I was like, whatever, dude, every truck has that. But this has like 3 times as many as my Tundra did. I don't know, maybe twice as many as my Tundra did. But it's really convenient. I mean, you can strap something to just about anywhere on this thing. My Texas is coming out. But yeah, I mean, there are a lot of tie-down spots and I don't even have the fancy package. I got the XLT, pretty much base, but I got it with 4-wheel drive and the EcoBoost. And let me just tell you, this EcoBoost is nuts. It's like, we just went to Winter Park, Colorado yesterday with my family to go skiing in this thing, and it literally was like driving a Ninja. It was just like, you put the gas down and that this truck was just like zoom. Even at like 10,000, 11,000 feet, it didn't bat an eye. I'm super, super pleased. Now, one thing I do want to mention is that I do not have a cover on this thing, so I don't have everything locked yet. So stay tuned. In my next videos, I'll be talking a little bit more about the details of this thing, as well as the cover that I built for this. I have a really cool design in mind. All right, so I was talking about how it's kind of noisy in here. You hear everything, so I feel like it's only fair that I give it justice and I actually drive with it. You guys can hear me. I mean, it's really not that much difference. I was kind of making a stink about it, but I don't think it's necessary. Now, I'm driving right now. Again, this thing has 1,500 pounds of payload, which is, or not quite, it's like 1,470, which is pretty dang good for a teeny tiny little unibody truck with some crazy giddy up. I'm very much impressed. I don't really hear the stuff up there at all. Let me see if I can show you. You can see all that redwood up there, all 100 pieces of it. Well, not quite, because I got the rest in the cab. But I don't even feel it while I'm driving. I'm super impressed. I'm just rolling along and don't feel, I mean, it feels like I'm just driving regular. All right, so back at the job site, I kind of wanted to show the finished product. So we got all the wood off the rack. A couple of negatives here, right? I opted right now to not put my little ladder in here. I have a 4.5 foot, what do you call it? Handyman ladder, whatever you call it. And it sits about this far out. So it doesn't actually sit properly in the bed. That's kind of annoying, to be honest. Actually, it's really annoying. And I got that one in particular because I was thinking it was gonna fit. And it doesn't. And I really can't afford to go any smaller than that because I build pergolas and patio coverings, and it doesn't make sense for me to have anything smaller than that. It'll tell me that I average 25, but it's more commonly around 23-ish, which for a 4-wheel drive vehicle, that's fine. Actually, it's great for a 4-wheel drive vehicle. The only thing I know of that gets comparable or better, I believe, is the Honda Ridgeline, which is similar, but I still believe this tops it even yet still. These were the boards that you saw loaded up in the truck. These slats function as like a shade, essentially. So we built this patio covering 2 weeks ago, and then the customer was like, we'll be finishing chopping that off when I come back to do the rest of it. But the customer was like, hey, I want you to come back and build like a shade feature of some sort, because she was going to hang shades. I was like, that's not a good idea. In Colorado, they will get wind blown and tattered and torn and everything. But there's over 102 slats for shade. So if this were my exclusive truck as a builder, handyman, contractor, dude who wants to be super manly, this would be too small. It just has a tiny bed. I have a crap ton of tools, and I can barely fit my table saw and my chop saws and all this stuff that I need in it without having to have everything in the cab. That's frustrating. My wife drives a bigger truck than me, yes. She drives a Ford Transit T350. I can haul anything in that. I can put anything in it. It's freaking ginormous. That's what we travel in whenever we're going skiing, adventuring, camping. That's our fun vehicle. Just to kind of give a size comparison of my vehicle to my wife's, here's a quick little reference of my Ford Maverick as compared to her monster Ford Transit T350 all-wheel drive. So the question is, can the Ford Maverick do everything that a bigger truck can do? I'm going to say, if you're creative, yes. If you're not creative, you will find a way to be frustrated.
So if you like good gas mileage, you don't want to have to pay $50,000, $60,000 for a truck, and you want to have 4-wheel drive, and you want to be able to have speed in the mountains, I think you got the truck for you.
If you like this video, please be sure to smash that like button and subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you in the next one.